At Your Own Risk, episode 23 is here, and I am just back from the Baja 1000, the 2025 SCORE International Baja 1000, the 58th running, and I have some great news. We made the podium with the race team with Ziegler Motorsports, and we ended up finishing the Baja 1000 in third place on the podium. And I just I'm so excited that that we had such an awesome outcome that really just put to the test of just the testament of what sheer will and just to keep pushing and going and knowing that you're that you can make it to the finish line as long as you're willing to put in all the work. And I got to thank the guys at Brenthel, the Brenthel crew at the pits that were just awesome out there, and as they always are with the races that I've done. But yeah, I wanted to put that out there. The Ziegler two-wheel drive 15T truck finished on the podium in third place of the Baja 1000 this year in 2025, and I just got to commend the great team that comprised this that was in this truck. Was starting with David Ziegler, who had Tyler Turrieta as his navigator, and they started from the start to about 375, and then at 375-ish, Paul Ziegler, David's brother, got in the truck with Brad Bolton, who went from 375 to about 545, and that's where I got in at around 545, 546, with Chuck Dempsey as the driver, and we took it from there at 545 all the way to the finish, which was 845 as far as what was displaying on my dash. That was mile marker 845 when we got up to the ramp to the finish line. And it was an eventful race for the team to start off with. And I'm just one of the things I'm elated about is that I, for the second year in a row, I ended up with a team that ended up on the podium. Last year I was in second place in the spec truck, and this year to finish in third place of just a stacked field of awesome drivers out there and teams was awesome. I mean, it is amazing to run in that class, a two-wheel drive trophy truck class, and finish still on the podium after what the team went through. And I'm going to start all the way back to qualifying, which I was not a part of, but the team had an issue during qualifying, and the truck ended up blowing a belt. They fixed it, got it put back on. Obviously had a horrible time, but it didn't put us that far back as far as, didn't put us all the way in the back of the field, because the truck was still able to run and finish the lap. So it put us on, I think, 15th in the two-wheel drive trophy truck class, but then it also put us 45th to the start. Now that they're putting everybody in between the class 10s and, the unlimiteds, the legends, it kind of basically goes down to being put where you end up qualifying on time. And the team was really looking forward to a great run when it came to the qualifying. But unfortunately, we had a belt issue, and it put us in the back, farther back in the field. And sometimes in those situations, really, when that happened, I was not, like I said, I wasn't down in Ensenada when the qualifying was happening, and I ended up getting a lot of messages of like, dude, what happened to you guys during qualifying? So then I had to kind of start asking the team, hey, what happened to us in qualifying? Which then I was told, we had belt issues that put us back. So that was going to give us a bad spot to start off with, that we knew we could have done much better in that situation. But in those situations, I always think of like, you know what? Everything happens for a reason. There's a reason. I have faith that those things just happen because that's the way that you're going to have to deal with the adversity that's coming at you come race day. And if you're not prepared mentally to start doing those things, you're in the wrong sport, man. You have to think that, okay, what have I been dealt with, and how am I going to overcome those situations in order to actually have a great outcome in this type of situation. So again, didn't have the best of starts, and then David and Tyler got in the truck at the start, and unfortunately, because of all, I mean, if you go out on Instagram or any kind of other social media, you'll see that the beginning of that race, there was just silt everywhere. I mean, some sections were nasty. So, um, unfortunately, what happens sometimes in these trucks, you'll even get like a small rock caught in one of the pulleys, and it'll just start spinning, and you'll have more issues. So, unfortunately for our team, in that start section where David and Tyler were in the truck, they ended up having belt issues and had to replace the belt twice after the start of the race during their section, and we just attributed that to that there must have been a lot of debris getting into the pulleys, which was causing a problem for the belt. So, um, lucky for us, they replaced 2 belts. We had, I think, 4 more extra belts just in case we were gonna need them, and so we were concerned that maybe there was another issue. Luckily for us, once the 2nd belt got replaced, the truck never had any issues. It went from the start, the 2 belts during that section from 0 to 375, and then once Paul and Brad got in at around 375, they they didn't have any more belt issues, and the only issue that team did have is somehow when Brad tried to put his SD card into the Loran system, he says that thing got just super hot, like he could feel it, that it heated up, and after that, he was not able to download his file. Um, and so they were running in the dark. I mean, literally in the dark with no GPS line at all, not even the original score line on the unit, which is something we probably have to, you know, uh, evaluate that to make sure that we have 2 cards or have the map already loaded with just a basic scorecard, because everybody's making a lot of notes. So when it comes to these situations, sometimes everybody will have their own. I know I had my own notes once they got to my section, but you know what? Great thinking on Brad's part. Once they kind of got through the section, they were going to hit that long 60-mile-an-hour highway section from their section from 375 to 545. So what Brad did was he turned on his phone and downloaded the map on one of his systems. It wasn't Lead Nav; it was another system that he uses a lot on his phone. So he was basically, once he didn't have any GPS on his Lowrance, he was running on a cell phone map. So, and that's how he was getting from one section to the next, and making sure they were hitting the VCPs. So they were pretty much in the dark. And from talking to both Paul and Brad, they kind of lost some speed because they had done some really good notes on where they could go fast and where they needed to slow down. So unfortunately for us, that kind of slowed us down a bit, but not too much. Again, we started in overall, we started in 45th, and we were still making a lot of positions up with David running the truck, and then when Paul was running the truck, and I think that's the only issue they had. And they brought the truck to us all in perfect shape. They brought it to Chuck and I at around 5:45, and it was probably about 10 o'clock at night when we got in the truck at that point. And all we knew was we had 300 miles to go, and one of the big issues, obviously, was the rain that was coming, and we were hoping that we were going to be early enough that we weren't going to get any of the rain, or maybe just a little bit of the rain as we started to come in. So we take off, and we were doing great. Everything was running fine. We didn't have any issues. The only thing was probably when we got to the lake bed after 5:45. There's a big, huge lake bed, and for some reason there wasn't any dust there or any wind at night around that time when 10, 11 o'clock at night, and there was no wind. So we're going through this section, and it's just like thick fog of dust sitting, and that was a pretty difficult section to get through. Even though it's just a flat lake bed, there are some some sand berms out there that get pretty big that you kind of just want to avoid. Obviously you don't want to hit those, and also trying to hit a VCP in all that thick dust. I was having to do a lot of moving of Chuck to either the right or the left to make sure that we were hitting the VCP, which we were. And then once we made it to 600, crossed the road, and then once we got past, didn't run into any issues at all. And then once we passed, I think it was about 645 Ventana, we were going, and the truck was stalling, was turning off, and our oil pressure was very down. It was down to about 30. Normally it runs about 65, 70 is the oil pressure that we're running on those motors, and we were very low on oil pressure, and it would go from 30 to 10. It's as low as 10 sometimes, and so the engine would keep shutting itself down, and we were thinking maybe we had an oil pressure switch issue or something else. And so what we did was we kept limping it, hoping to get to mile 705, which was the other road crossing, and we would have the pit guys there be able to evaluate the car and truck and see what we could do. So we during that section from about 6:45 to 7:05, that truck must have turned off at least 40 times of just trying to keep itself from blowing up because of the low oil pressure. We got to the pit. The guys were ready, and we were missing an antenna by that point. So even me trying to get the information out to the team, they couldn't hear what that we had an issue, unfortunately. And so we just did our best to keep going, moving. And once we got there, the guys, took the hood off and opened her up, and we were burning a lot of oil. So they put a bunch of oil on, put a bunch more oil into the motor, and once we did that, we were good. So we did not. We're trying to figure out as far as why we burned so much oil in the beginning. I know it was pretty warm at the start, and then in the middle section it was still warm, and even when we got in around 10 o'clock, it was still a pretty warm day on the San Felipe side. So, but oiled her back up, got it going, and pressure came right back up, and we were back at full speed. And I know Chuck was trying to make as much time as we could, so we're hauling, and it was a lot of fun going through that last section after mile 705. You're kind of heading up to Valley T and going up the goat trail, and then it's the home stretch at that point. So you're trying to make up as much time as you can. I think when we got in, I think maybe we were about either maybe fifth or eighth. I don't remember exactly, but we were somewhere in that bottom where we're still trying to see if we could make up some time to make it to the podium. And so we kept going, and I think the last during my section, which was 5:45 to the finish, the my Lowrance was uh, uh the screen was kind of like flickering a little bit once in a while, and it got to a point where I didn't mention it to Chuck because I didn't want to put any more worry in his brain. So I just kept that to myself and said, well, this is kind of weird that the screen is like flickering, and I'm hoping it'll survive until the finish. So luckily, um, the screen stayed on, the Lawrence stayed on. We kept moving, and we ended up catching a couple other trucks and some spec trucks and getting around them. And then with right when we got to Valley about Ojos Negros, You're maybe about 30 more miles to 30, 40 miles to Rancho Nelson, which was, part of the of the start that you kind of pre-ran on the day before the race. The Lawrence completely shut off. So we had no map. Luckily we had pre-ran it, and so you could still see the signs that were there, what we needed to do, how we needed to go to get to the VCPs, make sure we didn't miss any. And so we were basically really, really in the dark because we had no other screen at all at that point to go on. And luckily, we didn't have that many miles to worry about. But then, right at that start too, when the Lawrence went out, is when it started raining. So we may have had an issue with the rain and the Lawrence at the same time, kind of causing some problems. So they'll assess that, but we ended up getting through that section fine, but then once the rain started to sprinkle, we kind of knew that it was going to start pouring down pretty hard. And I think maybe with about maybe 5 to 8 miles to go is when it really started pouring on us, and luckily we made it to the finish line, crossed the finish line. At that point, I believe we had crossed in fourth overall, and we were thinking, well, maybe on adjusted time maybe we'll still be able to make second or third on adjusted time, just since we had started so far in the back and 45th overall and 15th in class. We figured, maybe we made up some time. So fortunately for us, when we got up, on what was it, Saturday? No, not Saturday, Sunday morning, um, we looked at that after adjusted time, the team finished in third place, and on top of that, what I've been told from David Ziegler is that the 15T, the DNA truck, the two-wheel drive trophy truck, we believe that the team has finished in second place overall in the class. And so that's another accomplishment, that was just awesome to hear, to finish the last race on the podium and then top it off with a second place overall two-wheel drive trophy truck class for the 2025 season in SCORE, is pretty awesome. So I'm just glad that I was invited along for this ride with the team, with David Ziegler, his brother, and the rest of the DNA team. It has just been awesome, man. It's been a very, very uh, just so exciting to be a part of a team where I got to race the 250, the 500, the 400, and the 1000 with this race team and finish on such a great note. It's exciting. I mean, it got to me at a point where I heard that we finished on the podium. It really got to me in just a emotionally, and of just that. Last year I raced the Baja 1000, ended up on the podium, and then you do it again with another team the following year, and you end up on the podium again. Um, I almost have to pinch myself that it's got to be, um, and I'm not saying it's got to be. It is pretty hard to finish on the podium of any race, let alone to finish a race. But to finish on a podium and do it, that consider myself amazingly blessed that I get to do it 2 years in a row, finish with a team on a podium for the Baja 1000. It's just it's mind boggling to me that I even had that opportunity to do that, and I appreciate David and his team for, like I said, bringing me along, giving me the opportunity to guide them. And I want to say, with my section, the last section with Chuck Dempsey, it was awesome, man. Like, I felt we really got in a sync and everything was just coming to us naturally easy. Um, it's such an awesome feeling, man, to be in a vehicle where you're just hammering and knowing that what you're calling out the guy knows. And it was awesome to, come into the section. Some of the stuff where we really had to worry about dangers with, some G outs and stuff, getting some communication back from Chuck saying, got it. And then not having to worry about it anymore and going to the next, corner or whatever what I had to call out. That was just amazing. It was awesome. And that's really what I think, what you strive for is when you get with somebody that you just get in such a sync that it feels natural and comfortable to be doing what you do. And again, I'm just so thankful for it. And I should have started out with all glory to God for what he has given me, for the talent that he's, loaned to me on this earth, and for me to have the opportunity to be doing these things with such amazing people, amazing teams, plus all the people on the race team too. I gotta commend the guys that were chasing us. I truly appreciate all the hard work, the time that you guys put, and for coming out and doing what you guys do. And I do have to say a special announcement to Pablo. Hey, güey, gracias por todo lo que hiciste y por echarnos porra y por todo lo que nos ayudaste. Pablo, tú sabes que te estoy hablando a ti. Y muchas gracias por todo. Y nos vemos en la otra. So, and that was Pablo, one of the guys on our chase that was on, he's from down there from Ensenada area. And, he was just awesome. And I hope to run into him again and do what, be together again at some point at some other race. He's an awesome dude from down there from Ensenada. So, again, I that really is the whole race in a nutshell. We had belt issue at the start, 2 belts during the first section, the GPS unit that went down for Paul and Brad, and then us with the oil pressure issue. And but that was it. And I will say that one of the things that I was very, very impressed with is that none of us, not the first team, not the second team, not us, we never had to get out to change a flat tire because, we were running, I think we were running Toyos. And so, hey, Toyo makes a badass tire apparently. So I am so glad that we never had to get out. One of the other things that I know, the big reason why I didn't have to get out is because of the notes that I run from Baja Brian. Baja Brian does an amazing job. And for me, having run that same section last year with his notes and again this year with his notes, just made me feel 10 times more confident of what I was doing, how I was calling it, and where we were going. So again, Baja Brian, hey, dude, thank you for the amazing notes of everything you do out there. I mean, I got to give credit where credit's due, and that has to do with a lot of how much more cautious and being able to know where the rocky sections and stuff that you need to avoid, and other areas where obviously you can find a fast line and make sure you don't miss a VCP. So again, that's basically it in a nutshell for the 2025 SCORE Baja 1000 with the Ziegler Brothers Racing Team 15T 2-wheel drive class. We ended up on the podium in 3rd place, and it's just amazing to be a part of that, and then to finish thinking, well, maybe you finished out of the podium, and we thought maybe we finished 5th or 4th, and to really get up and find out that after adjusted time, you end up in 3rd place on the podium. And that was just amazing. And it's really, truly an honor and a blessing to be able to do these things with teams and to do it 2 years in a row for me personally, to finish on the podium at the Baja 1000 twice, 2 years in a row. I got to give, credit to God and for him blessing me in such an amazing way that I know is, I will do the work, I will put in the work, and I will keep the faith that he will keep providing me the right people, the right team, and the right situations to be in, to make it happen for me, because I believe and have faith that God, is watching over me and giving me the blessing. So again, that's really all I have. I hope that you enjoy what I say, and on top of that, once we made it to the finish line, or the day before and at the finish line, I want to say thank you to everybody that, says hi to me, tells me they listen to the show, and that encourages me, because of you, I keep showing up here, getting on this mic and saying what I have to say and share, because you keep encouraging me. And if you keep encouraging me, I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep talking about the great experiences that I have in Baja, in off-road, and all the great people that I get to surround myself with, that I'm fortunate enough to be friends with, and get the opportunity to be a part of these situations and these events. So again, I know just how lucky I am, and I do want to give another great strong shout out to Brenthel. The Brenthel truck was amazing, just held up to, everything we threw at it. And the guys at the Brenthel pits, every single one of you is doing an amazing job. And I know it's a hard, long day for you guys, and I appreciate the hard work. The other thing I want to say out there too, which with the way that this race went for so long, and then the rain that started to come in late in the day, there were still media guys out there. And so all of you guys that are in the media that were out there still when we were going and the rain was starting to come down right as we got to the finish line, I commend you guys, man. Great job for sticking it out and for having to do what you guys do out there. It's a tough, tough job. And I know just, I'm like I said, I know I've seen some pictures of us at night already, going through the rain, and they're pretty awesome pictures. So you guys definitely deserve kudos for sticking it out there during this just crazy race that developed into something amazing for us. And I know that it's always a challenge for everybody, especially once they start falling behind. The elements just start changing, and just to see some of the trucks on videos and pictures that were coming in late, after the rain started to really come down there around the Ensenada area, is amazing. I've been through that. Matter of fact, this is my third Baja 1000 in a row that I am in the navigator seat, in the co-pilot seat, at the finish line, and it's raining on me. So I've had to do it 3 times where it rains on me at the very end, but you just never give up. And that's the awesome thing to see of in this off-road community, and these teams. So again, congratulations to all of you that made it to the finish line, and to those that finished on the podium, congratulations as well. Very hard fought win. And that's really all I have to say. Again, if I see you out there at another race, say hi. And I hope, I know I still have stickers left from the Baja 1000. So maybe at the next race, I'll be giving some out if I still have some. Again, thank you so much for everything, and listening. Again, if you have any comments, anything to add, just drop them here. Send me a message on Instagram or on Facebook, at Copilot Mafia, on either one of those, or Daniel Plaza. And I'll get to it, because I appreciate everything you guys do. And also, if you have any video or pictures of the 15T trophy truck, 2-wheel drive, during the Baja 1000, make sure you comment me on it, or Copilot Mafia, so I can see them, and just appreciate everything that everybody does. Again, I hope you guys have a great week, and that's really all I have. Until next time, I think I have a race next month, which should be my last race of the season. Again, I appreciate everybody and everything you guys do, and everybody that cheers me and the teams that I'm on, because I know it makes a difference. Your prayers, your attaboys, your just good luck, just makes a whole difference, man. Like, mentally, I'm so ready to go racing when I know that people are rooting and behind me. Again, thank you so much, and have a great week.